What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Vet, and it is so good to have you with me here in the Poindexter Lounge. Now, what is the Poindexter Lounge, you may ask? And that's a good question. The Poindexter Lounge is a place for nerds. It's a place for you and me to talk about all the things that we love, whether it be toys, whether it be movies, TV shows, games, all kinds of stuff, pop culture stuff. That's what we do here in the Poindexter Lounge. And so it's a place for everyone. And if that's you, we would love to have you be a part of this community. So please consider doing that, all right? Today is a special time because today I'm gonna do something that I haven't really done before, and that is this is kind of an answer video to somebody else's video here on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. That's kind of seems to be where I get my entertainment these days. And there is one guy, his name is the Junkman, and you're gonna be able to find links to his YouTube channel down in the description below, and of course a link to specifically the video that I'm talking about today. And basically this guy is just a cool guy. He's just a normal guy who loves the same things that I love. I'm guessing he's gotta be around my age because he talks about growing up in the 80s and just a lot of the things that I remember growing up as a kid, coming home when the street lights turned on and just being gone all day and just, playing with your toys and your friends and doing stuff. And so he does all kinds of cool videos about toys, about Star Wars toys, about 80s toys and that kind of stuff growing up. And so I love it. And like I said, it's kind of no nonsense. He just kind of does his thing and I love it. So Junkman, if you're watching this, I just want to say thank you for some great videos. It's been really fun watching your videos, and hey, I'd love to do something with you sometime. So let's hook up sometime, hopefully, and do a little collaboration, because if you're around here any amount of time and check out anything, I got a whole junk room of toys just kind of like you do. So I'd love to talk to you about that. But anyways, the reason for this video is because Junkman did a video about the top 10 things that he kind of misunderstood as a kid. And I've thought a lot about this myself, and I've not really seen many videos about this on YouTube. Those things that you didn't quite get them when you were a kid, and he's done in general. He did a top 10 of things in general that he just didn't understand, and a top 10 of Star Wars things. And let me show you something.
But I'm going to tell you about 10 stupid things I thought as a kid or believed in or whatever. I did another video about 10 stupid things I thought about Star Wars. So you guys really seem to like that and ask for more. And on the Sprite logo, I think they still put it on there, there was a picture of a lemon and lime. Because Sprite's lemon and lime at the same time. Well, I thought there was actually a fruit of lemon and lime. Every time my mom or my grandparents or anyone took me to the grocery store, I was over in the fruit section looking for a lemon lime. Well, if you're about 3 or 4 years old, that's not that stupid. But I think I was about 8 or 9 when I thought this. I thought at night the moon was the sun, just with the light turned off. I was convinced, without a shadow of a doubt, that Return of the Jedi was going to be in 3D. And I had proof. What was my proof of this? Every third movie in a series is 3D. Because I didn't have much to go on. I think I had Jaws 3D, and if I'm right, Friday the 13th, part 3 in 3D. I thought it was some kind of law or some kind of rule. If it was part 3, it had to be part 3D.
So you kind of get the idea of where he's going with this. And I loved those videos, man. I thought that they were super cool. And I started thinking to myself, because he, asked the normal things like, hey, if there were things that you misunderstood, why'd you put those down in the description below? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, I could do that. I could put a list of stuff to him. Or I could make a video about it. And I've been kind of wanting to make a video about these kind of things anyways. And this was the perfect time because it's a response video. Plus, hopefully I get to know a new friend and he knows that I'm around, because I don't know if he's ever watched one of our videos, but I've definitely watched his. So Junkman, if this is your first time to the Poindexter Lounge, welcome, brother. We know that you are also a nerd just like me and into the same kind of stuff. So this is going to cover a multitude of things, Star Wars and just random stuff that I misunderstood as a kid and just didn't get. So here you go with my top 10 misunderstood things from my childhood. Let's do it. Now, like Junkman mentioned in his video, there's gonna be some things on here that you're probably gonna look at me and go, Enosh, you are an idiot. Why didn't you understand that as a kid? And no, I didn't eat paint chips as a child. many anyways. There's just some stuff that sometimes you just don't get as a kid, right? And so I'm gonna start off with one that, you know, I liked Thundercats growing up, but number 10 on my list is I always called the Sword of Omens that Lion-O carried, that, you know, gave him sight beyond sight and all those things on Thundercats. We never called it the Sword of Omens, you know, which is an omen, which is, you know, a thing, a premonition or whatever. No, we called it the Sword of Almonds. Sword of Almonds, give me taste beyond taste. Right off the bat, you can see that this is gonna be one of those types of videos where you're gonna look at me probably in a different way by the time the whole thing's done, especially the Star Wars stuff. I know I'm gonna take flack for the Star Wars stuff. But number 9 is not that bad because I think a lot of kids dealt with this. Now, you guys all know I'm a huge Star Wars fan, have been my whole life. When all my other friends got out of Star Wars, I was still into Star Wars, still had all my stuff, and of course now I have an entire house dedicated to Star Wars. But there was, of course, the original Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot action figure. I never understood why he had black hair. I would always look at this figure and go, how can this be Luke? He's got black hair. At most, he's got sandy blonde hair, and you know, I mean, now the paint back then ran the gambit, right? I mean, some action figures of Luke had bright blonde hair, some had kind of a dark dishwater blonde, some had just a brown hair, and the lightsabers made no sense back then either because you had yellow lightsabers for Luke, and that didn't make any sense. But you know, Obi-Wan got blue. So it's not like they couldn't make blue. What's the deal? They both had a blue lightsaber. Why'd you have to make yellow for Luke? I don't know. But anyways, so you'd look at this figure, and if you look at it right above his eyes, I always thought that it was his hair parted above his eyes. Yeah, that's not the case. And I'm embarrassed to say that I only found this out like a couple of years ago because I just never really even thought about what it even was. I just, back in my childhood, that's what I thought it was, and I never really thought about it again until somebody goes, that's his goggles. Yeah, makes a whole lot more sense now. Okay, another stupid Star Wars one that I don't feel so bad about because a lot of other people also had the same problem. And I also think this is just a case of being a kid and not being able to pronunciate words. And that is, of course, the whole lightsaber thing. Didn't call it a lightsaber. Number 8, called them lifesavers. Yes, because they were lifesavers. Now, that's fine for me now, right? Looking back as a kid, to be able to say, oh yeah, I was, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old, called him a lifesaver. That's cute because, you know, that was actually a word from my childhood, lifesavers. We ate lifesavers. You know, you go down to the store and get a roll of lifesavers, you know, eat the candy. Not too long ago, I actually saw a eBay auction for a lifesaver that, of course, was an old Kenner lightsaber. Probably no excuse for that. It's a lightsaber, not lifesaver. Although they can save your life if you're in a predicament where you need a lightsaber. Here's one that Junkman kind of could relate to. And I remember this scaring the crap out of me when I was a kid. And being very, very upset. And that is, of course, number 7, which is back when I was about 3 years old. We went to the mall. They had a sales guy. I remember he was selling shoes. He was in the shoe department. And this guy had a Darth Vader mask on. And I was sure that was the real Darth Vader. And it scared me. I was afraid. I remember bawling and crying because I was in fear for my life that Darth Vader had come and was going to kill us all right there in the mall. What makes this worse is that the guy, it's not like the guy had a full-on Darth Vader costume. No, this was like those memes that you see from Office Space with Darth Vader, holding the cup and saying, I need you to come in on Saturday. Yeah, I'm talking this guy literally had dress shirt, tie, khaki pants, whatever, and a Darth Vader mask. And I was sure that was the real Darth Vader. Apparently that was Darth Vader on the weekends when he works at the mall. Hey, Sith gotta make a living too. Sometimes the Empire doesn't pay that well. So now I'm gonna make myself look totally stupid.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
some of these things, you got to understand why I thought the things that I thought when I was a kid. Number 6, though, is a good one, and mostly it's because I was raised in Las Vegas. You know, it's the middle of the desert, a lot of sunshine. I don't even remember it really raining much when I was a kid, and back then at least there wasn't a lot of humidity. Now there's like man-made lakes and stuff, so like there's this false humidity, and they get some rain every once in a while. But back then we never saw really a lot of rain, and so I don't remember a lot of rain as a kid. So, but you'd see clouds during the day. Another thing is when I was a kid at night, it never rained that much, so I thought, number 6, clouds went away at night.
Stupid!
I don't know why, but I remember finally being about 6 years old and really looking up into the sky for the first time at night, because it was kind of lit up a little bit, and I remember looking up and going, oh, those are clouds. Boys and girls, clouds are still there at night. I realized that after moving to Michigan, where we get storms all the time, day and night. Number 5, I'm not alone in this one either, and that is I would argue with my friends tooth and nail that wrestling was real, that it was not scripted, that man, it was absolutely, positively, for sure, 100% real, no doubt about it. I remember when Hulk Hogan got attacked by Earthquake, and Tugboat, his buddy, was on there trying to get all the little Hulksters to write in for the Hulkster to get him, you know, the determination to come back and face the Earthquake. And man, I was right there. Now, I didn't write a letter. I think I remember saying a prayer or two for Hulk Hogan back then. Wrestling is real, folks. Still real to me. Number 4. As a guitar player now, I am seriously embarrassed by this. This is ridiculous, but when I was younger, I thought that there was actually an instrument called an air guitar. That was what I, in my brain, put together is what a synth was. Because you'd see these guys playing like keytars, you know? A keyboard or whatever, and so like I didn't think it was that. I just thought that it was like a guitar that just kind of had that sound, like a synth guitar. And there are synth guitars, but I didn't know what they were, and so I thought that they were air guitars. And yeah, that's wrong. An air guitar is just what it sounds like. It's an air guitar. Although I did win an air guitar playing contest when I was 16 years old out at Wet n Wild Water Park in Las Vegas, Nevada. So there you go. I won a Hershey's Kiss hat and walked away with the grand prize. Everybody loved it. Speaking of music, as a songwriter now, I think that this is hilarious and I crack up every time I hear the song. But when I was a kid, I remember the song Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant. You know, you remember the song, right? We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue and then we'll take it higher. Deep song, actually, if you ever listen to the lyrics of it. It's a song about something. I thought, in my mind, that I wrote that song in my head when I was a little kid, and here's the reason why. I remember hearing that song a lot when I was little, because it was like one of those pop songs that kind of went away, right? And so there were years that I never heard the song again, and I remember going all through like elementary school, all through middle school, and I would talk about that song every once in a while. I'd be singing that song and people would go, what is that? And my friends would go, what is that? And I'm like, you've never heard of, it's Electric Avenue. It's like, it's a song. And they'd go, I've never heard that song before. And I never heard the song anywhere. It wasn't on the radio. It wasn't played on MTV. It wasn't anything. Back when MTV actually played videos. Until one day I was watching VH1 and there it was. Eddie Grant in all of his glory. So I took it higher and I realized that it is indeed a song, and no, I did not write it, and so therefore, no, I will not be getting the royalty checks from it. That's the big bummer about that one. Number 2 is a pretty funny one. It's a Star Wars related one, and that is, you know, you hear stuff when you're a kid, you don't really know exactly what's being said, and I remember anytime that I would hear Han Solo talk about the jump to light speed, he said it in a way that was so fast that, you know, he'd say like, the Navicomputer needs to make the calculations to jump to light speed. I thought that he was saying in my head that they were having to go to jungle light speed. Not to jump to light speed, but to go to jungle light speed. And in my head, that meant that like they could go super fast, like almost like the speed of light, but it was like, because the jungle was dark and there was lots of foliage, and like, don't ask me how like my 4-year-old brain put this all together. But my brain thought, well, there's all this foliage and stuff and light doesn't travel as fast in the jungle. So they're just shy of actual light speed. So it's jungle light speed. Yeah, not a thing. Before I give you my #1 misconstrued thing when I was a kid, let me give you an honorable mention here. And I don't know to this day why I thought this, and I was definitely put in my place by a kid who was about 12 or 13 at the time. I was probably about 8. We were talking about, because in the early 80s, you know, there was a lot of talk about the Russians and about war and World War III and stuff like that. Somehow my brain did not understand the Cold War. And so I didn't know who it was that we were worried about bombing us when I was a kid. I just knew that World War III was a possibility because they talked about it a lot, and nuclear weapons and all those things. But I remember saying to a kid one day, I said, well, this 12, 13-year-old kid, well, at least the Russians are on our side. To which he looked at me and said, no, you idiot. It's the Russians that we're scared of. It's the Russians who want to bomb us, which totally exploded my world. So there's your honorable mention. And the #1 misconstrued thing that I remember as a kid that my life was, my whole mind was blown when I finally realized that I was wrong, has to do with my all-time favorite movie, The Empire Strikes Back, and that's why this is the most embarrassing one of all of these for me, because everybody knows that I know the original trilogy backwards, forwards, whatever, but especially The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back is it for me, and here's the thing. In the scenes where Luke is on Bespin and he comes to save, you know, Han and Leia and Chewie and C-3PO and everything, for some reason in my head, after he faced Vader there in the carbon freezing chamber and he escapes and he gets away and Vader's kind of missing there for a minute, my brain thought that he defeated Vader like 3 or 4 times. That every time you saw Vader kind of disappear, Luke had killed him. That Luke had killed whatever version of Vader was, but that those were fake Darth Vaders. That they were just Darth Vader's just toying with him, and that was, you know, the fake Vader. That the real Vader was the Vader finally there on the platform that tells him I'm your father and all those things. But no, I thought that the one in the carbon freezing chamber was fake. I thought that the one that comes out from around the corner at him was fake. I thought the one that was throwing all the stuff at him with the Force and threw him through the window was a fake. And the only real one was the one that came at him at the end. And here's how I found that out. I saved up my own money when I was 10 years old, and I put the Star Wars trilogy on VHS in layaway at Kmart. And after a long bit of paying that off every week, I finally paid it off. $60 paid it off, which was a ton of money for me back then. Paid it off, brought it home, watched The Empire Strikes Back for the first time in what had been a long time. Popped it in, watched the whole thing, only to realize that it's all the same Darth Vader. I was wrong. And I remember talking to my friends about that, being like, you remember when there's all the different Darth Vaders? There's not. So that's very embarrassing for me.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So there you have it. That's my top 10 most misconstrued things of when I was a kid. Hey, do you guys relate with any of these? Junkman, thank you so much for making your video and inspiring me to finally make this video. I really appreciate it. And like I said, hopefully we can work together sometime. If you guys out there have some misconstrued things that you thought in your head that don't make any sense, please leave them in the comment section below. Let me know. I would love to hear what you guys got wrong, and know that I'm not the only one, and Junkman's not the only one who comes up with this crazy stuff in our head when we were kids. Also, hey, maybe make a video about it. I'd love to see that. Remember, you can find all of our social media stuff down in the description below. And don't forget, this month we are giving away this Aquaman 2-pack, not Tupac, even though he's still alive. No, we're giving away this 2-pack of Aquaman and Orm, this battle pack, and that can be yours. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, hit notifications, and of course, leave a comment down in the comment section that yes, indeed, you are interested in the toy set. All right, guys, that's all I got for you for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. We got lots of other stuff planned, and hopefully we'll jump back into this pretty soon with another video. Thanks, guys, for joining me. And again, stay nerdy and do your research before you talk to all your friends about stuff, because it can come back to haunt you. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you made it this far in the video, you are awesome. Thank you guys so much for your support. Please smash that like button and of course subscribe, and also hit that notifications bell so that you are aware when we put out new videos, which is like all the time. Thanks for being a part of the Poindexter Lounge, and we'll see you next time.